It was known as the land of the gods. But for some time now, it's been the land of humans. Hidden below permafrost of the Caucasus Mountains is a mystical world. Georgia has been firmly situated in this place for many centuries. The civilization of these people has flourished here between Asia and Europe for thousands of years. What do they ultimately want to protect? This is where I begin my search for the civilization that the Georgians have embraced for centuries. We fly for 10 hours to Doha, Qatar, to reach the far west of Asia. After another 5 hours of flying, we land in Georgia. Our first destination is Svaneti, a 9-hour drive from Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia. Mestia, the medieval town with just as much history as the snow that permanently caps the mountains, is the central city of Svaneti. "30,000 Svan people make a living in Mestia, scattered here and there. The first thing that I am greeted with when I arrive in Mestia is the statue of Queen Tamar. She was the first queen of Georgia who paved the way for the Golden Age in the 12th century and is a symbol of the country's history. Her statue can be seen in the cities of Georgia. Perhaps it's because the 7-month winter just ended here, but there's hardly any sign of life in the square. A store is open in one part of the village. Looking at the items that are sold, I can roughly tell how these people live. After Georgia declared its independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, they adopted the free market system. However, their lifestyle doesn't seem to have changed much.
Is Batumi, да, я знаю. 저쪽에 있는 야채나 이런 것 저기 뭐야 오렌지 같은 것들은 바투미에서 온다라고 그래요.
I am on my way to Ashguli, which is 40 kilometers from Mestia. This is the main reason I've come to Svaneti.
예, 산으로 올라올수록 순간적으로 아무것도 지금 보이지가 않습니다.
They say you can come here only if God approves. It's not an easy journey. 2,200 meters above sea level, Ushguli is the highest alpine village in Georgia. Winter covers the village, and only when April arrives and the snow melts can people enter it without difficulty.
Одну вещь я спрашиваю, ну, мне...
Вот на Ушгуле приехали уже.
Уже приехали, да?
Это территория Ушгульский, отсюда начинается Ушгуль.
It's been 4 hours since we began our ascent up this treacherous mountain path. We finally arrive in Ushguli, in the far west of the Caucasus Mountains that divide Europe and Asia, which lies on the border of Russia. Winter has ended here. It feels like I've gone back in time. I meet a man who is looking after livestock at the village entrance.
June меня зовут. Боря. Так.
49 families currently reside in Ushguli.
Где ваш дом? А вот это, да? Ага. Можно попросить это? Смотреть ваш дом? Да?
Можно.
Спасибо заранее. Это берешь, да?
Most of the residents moved to a lower area during the winter to escape the cold, but Bori stayed here.
Семьей живете, да? Мы
His home is small and simple,
вот это снимаем.
but the Ushguli native says he lives full life.
А, наверх, да? То есть вот это там. Есть оружие.
Да.
Охотите? Да?
О, лись.
오.
Да.
여기서 사냥을 하시는데요. 이 여우도 직접 잡으셨다고 그러네요.
Картошка.
The Ushguli people have hunted and farmed since ancient times.
сырой кушаете. Это свинья, да?
Свинья, да.
오.
This is a common snack here.
Попробуйте, как это. Мы хотим смотреть, как вы кушаете.
Соль нету ее.
Ага, да. Это с солью, да?
Да.
It is enjoyed in cold regions.
제가 생선은 좋아하는데 한번 이 돼지고기 생고기를 한번 먹어보도록 하겠습니다. 처음인데.
With Bori's recommendation, I go for a bite.
맛있어요. 응? 굉장히 고소한데요? 참치 같아요, 참치. 아마 이 추운 데서 사시려면 이런 그 고열량이 필요하실 수도 있겠네요.
A place where history was recorded long before the birth of Christ. The wisdom and tradition of this people are buried here in Ushguli. Ushguli is especially famous for its perennial snow and uniquely formed towers.
Только много башен, да, таких? Вот что это такое?
Ну, это давно, это здесь живут.
Жили, да?
Жили.
Ага.
Вот 2, 3, 4, это.
Ага, 4 этажа, да?
Когда война была, может быть.
Ага.
Тогда один, это был только.
Ага. Понятно. А сейчас это что?
Сейчас, ну, просто стоит и все.
Просто, да?
Интересно вниз.
Это пустое?
Да.
Built in the 11th century, this building protected its residents from snow that piled up over 3 meters high and functioned as a defensive base to stop invaders.
여기 그러니까 건초 말리는 곳으로 사용하고 있네요, 이쪽을. 지금은.
The tower was made to have 5 floors. They raised livestock on the first floor, and the second floor was a residential space. The rest of the floors were shelter used during heavy snowstorms to hide from invaders.
무슨 뼈들인가요?
Traces of the past have been left here.
여기서 그러니까 식사를 하고 음식을 해 먹고 했다라는 것 같아요. 아마 여기서 그 겨울을 나고 여기서 생활을 했던 것 같고요. 아마 이 돌로 여기를 전쟁이 나거나 누가 침입했을 때 돌로 여기를 막은 다음에 그리고 여기 있는 사다리는 이 위로 올라가서 사다리를 치워버리면 더 이상 올라오지 못하게 되겠죠.
This place silently reveals the history of a way of life that was far from easy. Ushguli, The first village below Caucasus Mountains protected the innocence of its people, even in the midst of hardships. I walk along a path to the village below. It is April in Ushguli. The snow that covered the hills all winter has melted, and the green grass is revealed once more. I must not be the only one enjoying the freshness of spring. The sound of a unique instrument stops me in my tracks. They say history is projected through music. An undertow of sorrow is embedded in the songs of the Svan people, who, for many years, had to fight off intruders.
June. I'm Ramin. Очень приятно. Вы играете вот этот? Это что?
Да, джонгури.
Джонгури. А, сванский.
Да.
Сванский.
Tradition.
Окей, окей. А можно послушать
Да.
у вас, да?
Да, можно.
Ага.
Заходите.
Спасибо, спасибо.
The traditional changuri was mainly played for God to appeal for truth.
Здравствуйте, здравствуйте, здравствуйте. Пустыми руками нельзя, поэтому...
Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте. Камарджубат.
Чонгури.
А, это чонгури.
I meet a family who love music and enjoy playing instruments.
이게 그
Tradition.
조지아 그 전통 악기 청구리라는데 네 줄이네요.
This melody has rung out across the land since the 12th century. It continues even to this day. It is a folk song in the ancient Georgian language that cannot be fully understood even by the Svan people.
아, 그냥 즉석에서 하시는데도 화음을 해가지고 노래를 하시네요.
Гитарой тоже можем вместе.
This music is part of a tradition that is passed down from one generation to the next.
попробую.
I decided to learn a little bit of the changuri to get in touch with the culture of my hosts.
다?
Да. Да. Получается сразу первый же.
아니 기타보다 훨씬 이 잡기가 뭐라 그럴까요? 안 아픈데요? 제가 이게
세기?
손가락이 아파가지고 포기했는데 이거는 칠 수 있을 것 같은데요? 하나도 안 아파요. 누르는데.
Там лади нету. Надо по слуху.
바스로크. 아 이게 지금 코드 이게 딱딱 자리가 없기 때문에 전부 귀로 자기가 어느 음을 잡아야 되는지를 귀로 다 이거를 해야 된답니다. 그러니까 청음이 없으면은 이 청음이 없으면 할 수 없는 악기이겠네요.
Their sensitivity reminded me of Korea, so I decided to introduce the song Arirang to them.
뭐다? 아리랑 아라리오. 아리랑 아라리오. 아라리오.
아라리오.
아리랑 아라리오.
아리랑 두 말하다. 아리랑 아라리오.
아리랑
Это
아라리오.
на грузинском тоже. Ариран, арарио.
Есть, да?
Нету его. Ну, арарио по-грузински.
Вот, да,
Нету.
да.
Arti, in Georgian language, carries a negative meaning of no.
Сейчас попробуем. Ариран, ариран, 아라리오.
Although the meaning is different from Korean, the song brought us together.
ჩვენ ძმობას გაუმაგროს, ჩვენს გაცნობას გაუმაგროს, მეგობრობას გაუმაგროს, ვურყევს, ვუღალატოს და სანდო ძმობა მეგობრობას გაუმაგროს ხოთი ცხოვრება. გაუმაგროს ლა.
Though our meeting was short, it was a time I'll never forget.
Без проблем.
Вот это сегодня просто от души как-то я просто лечился.
Спасибо.
Лечился,
Дай
да?
Бог, чтобы
Да,
это
спасибо.
на пользу, чтобы пошла всегда.
Ну давай, еще раз.
Еще раз.
I find myself liking the simple yet beautiful people of Georgia even more.
До встречи.
This blessed land offers the gifts of nature and carries a long history. Morning in the mountains of Georgia is peaceful and clear. On my way back to Mestia, I discover a spring halfway down the mountain. Reddish water bubbles up from the ground. The moment I began to wonder whether it's drinkable, a local resident comes by.
Территорию Грузии мы показываем корейцам.
Это
Вот
хорошо.
да.
По-русски нарзан.
Это особенно для чего это хорошо?
Для кишков или печени.
Печень, да? 이게 지금 이 안에 있는 이 안에 있는 모든
Narzan is natural carbonated water, which contains magnesium and calcium and is good for the health.
Это отбивается. И погода же меняется, да? Это тоже меняется. Сейчас немножко слабовато. А если хорошая погода, у него больше говна.
이게
С Богом, ребят!
с Богом.
Nadar takes this water home every day.
Спасибо, Надар. До свидания.
Давай,
Счастливо вам.
Georgia is known to be a country of longevity, and Swaneti is a city that has all the traits of a quintessentially Georgian city. Perhaps the secret to longevity is hidden in the Narzan water. Surrounded by the Caucasus Mountains, the Koruldi Lakes show off a magnificent grandeur in the summertime.
Вода, да?
Это чистая вода.
Можно выпить?
Вот там есть.
В этом
это
месте можно, да?
Можно видать. Где вода идет, везде можно здесь выпить.
Ага, да?
As the ice and snow gradually melt, the water soaks into the ground and is collected here. The water is currently settling into the lake. It is magically bubbling up from under the ground. I can feel childish curiosity taking me over.
재밌는데요? 여기서 요물들이 전부 모여서 저 안 호수로 들어가는 것 같습니다. 여기서 물이 막 이렇게 올라오네, 여기 밑에서.
We leave Svaneti for a moment to explore another part of the land and meet with an unexpected obstruction. A herd of cattle occupies the road. 2/3 of Georgia is covered in mountains, so raising livestock is the people's means of making a living.
처음 여기 오시는 분은 여기가 인도라고 생각할 수도 있겠는데요. 길을 막고 소들이 도로를 다니고 있습니다.
A moment later, a flock of sheep blocks the road. My guide doesn't honk or ask them to move. The people of Georgia are very carefree. The walls of Eurasia mountain are covered with holes. 6,000 to 7,000 caves up to 13 stories high were excavated by humans. The exact number is still unknown to this day.
Пожалуйста, этот город-крепость Вардзя. Построен это в XII веке грузинского царя Георгия III. Он не успел в своей жизни это достроить. Она достроила его дочка Тамара царица.
The size of the cave surprises me as I draw nearer. What was once a series of secret caves was later revealed when an earthquake took place in 1283. Now around 300 rooms are revealed as if going back in time. The water channel catches my attention the most. The wisdom of the Georgian people can be seen in the way they obtained water. Starting with the invasion of the Greeks in the 8th century BCE, and carrying on down a long list of unwanted attention, the people of Georgia needed a place to hide. This fortress was their most miraculous creation. The underground city once accommodated 50,000 people. Vardzia is known to have the very fine cave formation and remarkable architectural elements. Water flows through this cave to this day. I received the privilege of accessing an area that is closed off to the public.
이 높은 산악에서 물을 어떻게 공급했나 궁금했었는데요. 저쪽에 보시면 구멍이 3개가 있습니다. 그래서 아주 작은 양의 물이 똑똑똑똑 떨어지는데 그 물을 받아가지고 여기서 사는 사람들이 식수를 해결했다고 하네요.
The water that seeped through the cave walls was distributed throughout the cave city. I try the water that hasn't stopped flowing for thousands of years.
너무 시원하고 맛있습니다. 마치 성수를 마신 것 같아요.
The people of Georgia dug up the slopes of a mountain in order to build a secret city and survive. Here, there was one thing they were very eager to protect.
Во время войны, когда турки нападали, защищались людей, зашли, там поместилось где-то 55 тысяч человек во время войны. Когда в XII веке этот государство Грузии уже стало уже сильным, он потерял это значение и передал ему этот монахов. Там уже был монастырь.
Nothing lasts forever. The cave city didn't last even a century as a military fortress before it was transformed into a monastery. There were a lot of rooms in Varzia. A banquet hall, library, a bakery, sauna, and even a wine cellar. However, the only place that's perfectly preserved to this day is the church. The fresco paintings you see here are as vivid as ever, taking us back in time. The church interior has preserved even more distinct memories. A period when Georgia was powerful and prospered culturally. The golden age of Queen Tamar is illustrated here. These are images of Queen Tamar, the daughter of the founder of Varzia Cave, King George III. What kind of future did the people of Georgia dream of building? Did they eventually achieve their goals? We do not know the answer, but there's one thing that hasn't changed.
조지아인들이 지키고자 했던 것은 아마 자신들의 신앙이 아니었나라는 생각이 드네요.
Despite endless invasions, Georgia resisted and protected its religion. It's like reading a page of the history of my own country. A herd of cattle heads home from grazing in the open meadows of Sveneti. Interestingly enough, the cows here seem quite smart, traveling home on their own. Before sunset, I head over to my guide, Valerie's house.
Здравствуйте. Очень приятно. Приятно.
Valerie was kind enough to let me stay the night. They say that the way people live is similar wherever you go. I feel at home here.
Что вы делаете сейчас?
Кубдари.
Как кубдари?
Да. Сванский кубдари.
Это хачапури, да?
Хачапури. Мясные хачапури.
Мясные хачапури. 여기 그
Хачапури вот это. Сырный. А это кубдари.
это кубдари. Это мясо, да?
Да.
Kubdari is a Sveneti traditional meal and staple food, which is made by placing marinated meat and vegetables in dough and then baking it. It's customary to pour cha-cha, Georgia's traditional liquor, and the brazier to feed the flames. The savory kubdari is pulled from the oven and dinner is ready. I can't wait to taste a meal prepared by a true Svan. Yogurt, which is made by the family themselves, is an essential part of any meal. The real star of the night is just being revealed. It is wine, the pride of the Svan people. It is tradition to have it at every meal.
여기서는 그 타마다라고 해가지고 술의 그 좌장이 있습니다. 우리 식으로 하면 병권을 진 분이라고 하는데 여기서는 제일 연장자가 그거를 하고 그분이 술을 먼저 드시기 전에는 절대로 먼저 마시면 안 된다는 그런 그 전통이 있답니다.
Често бесни то от нас ушли. Вот.
Each glass carries a meaning. Their affection is easily felt as they raise their glasses to the ones they've lost and drink to them. I can taste the long history of Georgia and the richness of the life of its people with every bite I take. It is a taste that was never lost, even in the midst of hardships. This night in Svaneti will be one I'll never forget. Valerie's wife sets about milking the cows early the next morning. I marvel at her skills.
Вот это вы каждый день это делаете?
Да.
Каждый день, да? Каждое утро, да?
Каждое утро, да.
I follow her as she insists on having me try something.
Это почистите, да? Сначала.
She strains the milk she fetched this morning and tells me that it needs to be boiled and left to mature for a day. She hands me the milk that was made yesterday.
약간 신맛이 좀 있고요.
Ни один каплета нету у него. вода.
여긴 물이나 이런 게 전혀 안 들어가 있는 건데 뒷맛은 고소해요. 첫 맛은 약간 시큼하고. 맛있는데요. 오늘 아침 안 먹어도 되겠습니다.
Еще можно?
Нет, спасибо. Давайте тогда. До свидания. До свидания.
The warm generosity of the Svan people doesn't fade even as I leave. I won't ever forget this land of the Middle Ages.